Okay, so imagine this. You're standing on a production floor. It's loud, it's busy, and you're running a line that makes a high-tech diagnostic cartridge.
One of those really complex little devices, right? The kind that goes into a hospital machine.
Exactly. To tell you if you have the flu or COVID or something much worse. Now, you've been watching this line for months. You know its rhythm. And then you have this breakthrough. You realize if you just combine step 4 and step 5 and maybe nudge an inspection camera like 3 inches to the left,
Yeah.
you can boost output by 20%.
In any other industry, automotive, consumer electronics, you're the hero of the quarter. You get a high five, you get a bonus.
You're a star. But in the world we're diving into today, regulated medtech manufacturing, that brilliant idea might have just handed you a major problem.
Or at the very least, a massive compliance headache that's going to last for months. Because you didn't just speed up the line, you broke the validated state.
You changed the recipe without asking permission.
Exactly.
And that is the tension we are unpacking today. It's this clash between Kaizen, the drive to get better, faster, cheaper, and compliance, which is the absolute mandate to stay safe, controlled, and documented.
And we've got a stack of research that suggests we've been managing this, well, completely wrong.
We're looking at a definitive guide to the different schools of Kaizen, a deep analysis of AI's role in medtech, and a leadership narrative on how to stop.
I love this phrase, renting your results.
That phrase, renting results, is going to be the thing that haunts you by the end of this. But you're right, the core issue is what one of our sources calls the three-way disconnect.
Okay.
You got the people trying to improve things, the people trying to control things, and then this massive ocean of data that, frankly, neither side is really using effectively.
So it's a corporate standoff. You've got the gas pedal, the brake pedal, and the speedometer, and none of them are actually connected to the same car.
That's a great way to put it. So let's start with the first player in that standoff, the improvement people. We hear the word Kaizen thrown around all the time. It's usually just a synonym for make it better.
Right.
But looking at this breakdown in our source material, Kaizen isn't a monolith. It's more like a buffet with very different cuisines.
It really is. And this is where companies get into trouble right away. They say, we need Kaizen, but they don't specify which Kaizen. The source material breaks it down into 3 tiers, and the differences are not just academic. They fundamentally change how you work.
Okay, let's walk through them. Tier 1 is what the source calls the foundational layer. Who's in that group?
These are the giants, the systems that really built the modern world of manufacturing. You've got the Kaizen Institute, which goes back to Masaki Imai.
Right.
If you're a big multinational and you want a standard management system, standardized belts, common language, a global playbook that looks the same in Tokyo and Berlin, that's where you go. It's structural, it's heavy.
Okay.
But then right next to them, you have the Lean Enterprise Institute, or LEI.
I've read some of their work. They seem less about the structure and the belts and more about, well, the philosophy of it.
Problem framing is the perfect term. LEI is fantastic at teaching you how to look at work. They don't just give you a checklist. They teach you to define the gap between where you are and where you need to be. It's very cognitive.
And the third one in this tier?
The third giant is Toyota Kaita.
Kata, like in martial arts, right? A pattern of movements you practice over and over.
Precisely. And here it's a choreographed pattern of thinking. It's not about a 3-day workshop. It's about a manager and a learner practicing a specific routine of scientific thinking every single day until it becomes a reflex. It's powerful for culture change, but it's a slow burn.
So tier 1 is kind of the Ivy League theory, structure, deep thinking. What about tier 2?
Tier 2 is the practice layer. This is where the rubber meets the road. The source points to Gemba Academy. If you need to train 500 operators on how to actually do 5S, how to organize a workstation, Gemba is very video-based, very practical.
Got it. And for our audience today?
Well, the big one for the medtech crowd is ASQ, the American Society for Quality.
Ah, the quality folks. They must be the bridge to the regulated world.
They're the essential bridge. You can't just move fast and break things when you're making pacemakers. ASQ integrates the improvement tools with the quality management systems, the QMS that we have to live by. They speak the FDA's language.
And then there's tier 3, which felt the most personality-driven.
Yeah.
The rock stars.
Yes, the high-impact individuals. You have Paul Akers, famous for his 2-second lean. His philosophy is just infectious. Fix what bugs you. Make one tiny improvement every single day.
So simple.
But fix what bugs you right now is probably a terrifying sentence to a regulatory affairs director.
It causes palpitations, I'm sure.
It does, and that's why the source contrasts him with Mark Graban. Graben is all about healthcare and psychological safety. He gets that in a hospital or a device factory, you have to improve, but you absolutely cannot harm the patient. His approach is built for these high-stakes environments.
Okay, so here's the million-dollar question. If I'm running a factory, how do I choose? Do I want that fun 2-second lean energy or the serious Toyota Kata discipline?
The research offers a filter for that, and it's one word: sustainment.
Sustainment.
If you want a quick hit of energy that's sugar high, you do a Kaizen blitz. Everyone eats pizza, moves some machines around, feels great. But 2 weeks later...
It all goes back to the way it was, the pizza party effect.
Exactly. If you want to change the DNA of the company, you need the Tier 1 structure or the Toyota Kaita routines. But, and this is the big but for us, if you're in medtech, you have to filter all of this through the lens of compliance.
Which brings us right to that medtech tension. I really want to push on this. Why can't I just use Paul Akers' approach on a pacemaker line? If I see waste, say, walking 10 steps for a torque wrench, why can't I just move it closer?
In a vacuum, you should. But in medtech, you're not in a vacuum. You're working inside a validated system.
Okay, let's define that. What does it actually mean to be validated? Sounds like jargon, but is really a shield, isn't it?
It is a shield. Being validated means you've proven, with data, that a very specific recipe produces a safe product. You've done your IQ, your OQ, your PQ.
Installation, operational, and performance qualification.
Right. You've basically promised the FDA, if I run the machine at this speed, with this temperature, following these exact steps, the device works safely.
Okay, so back to my cartridge example. I move the camera 3 inches, combine 2 steps. I'm saving time. What's the real risk?
The risk is invisible. Maybe by combining those steps, you changed the dwell time of a UV curing adhesive by half a second.
Okay.
It looks fine, but maybe that tiny reduction means the bond strength drops by 10% over 5 years. Or by moving the camera, the lighting angle changed just enough that it now misses a hairline crack on the edge of the plastic.
So you're now producing a product outside the conditions you proved were safe. You are. You're no longer in a validated state.
Exactly. And in normal manufacturing, the primary value is speed. In regulated manufacturing, the primary value is control. Control is king. And this creates a miserable environment for engineers who just want to make things better.
So what's the answer?
The source lays out these 3 goals you have to hit all at once. First, compliance stability. Don't break the paper trail.
Makes sense.
Second, process capability. You actually have to reduce scrap and variability, not just go faster.
Right. Don't just make it faster if it gets messier.
And third, this is the one people miss: organizational learning.
That sounds a bit soft. Learning.
It sounds soft, but it's the most critical. If an operator changes something but doesn't understand why the original process was there, you haven't improved. You've just created a ticking time bomb.
This feels like trying to run a sprint in a straitjacket.
And that's what leads us to the great disconnect. The source argues the reason we fail isn't because engineers aren't smart or quality people are evil. It's a structural failure in how we handle information.
The 3-way disconnect. This was the part of the research that really made me sit up.
Right, so you have 3 groups. Group 1, the continuous improvement, or CI team. Their job is go faster, cut waste. Group 2, the quality management system, the QMS. Their job is stop, document everything, prove it.
The police.
And group 3, the operational data, the actual reality of the machines, yield, scrap, downtime.
Right. They just don't talk to each other.
Worse, they live in different file formats. Kaizen lives on whiteboards and sticky notes. Quality lives in rigid, locked-down PDFs. And the data lives in server logs that nobody looks at until something breaks.
The source called this the Groundhog Day effect.
It's a tragedy of memory. Let's say a seal fails on a device in 2021. The team swarms it, they figure out it was a temperature issue, they fix it. They write a corrective and preventive action report, and they file it.
And it goes into the system.
It goes into what the source calls the compliance graveyard. It's a repository of proof, not a repository of knowledge. It's there to show an auditor you did something. It is not there to teach a future engineer.
So 2 years later, a new engineer comes in. The same seal fails.
And do they know about the 2021 fix?
Of course not. The sticky notes are gone, the whiteboard's erased. The original engineer works somewhere else.
So they start from scratch. We rely on human memory. Hey, go ask Bob. I think he was here back then. Instead of system memory, we keep solving the same problems because our systems have amnesia.
That is it's infuriatingly relatable.
Yeah.
So we have this disconnect between speed, safety, and memory. Now, the source pivots to the solution, which is, of course, the buzzword of the decade, AI.
But wait, before people roll their eyes, this isn't some vague AI will run the factory thing. The analysis here is very specific. It argues that AI is the only tool capable of bridging that three-way disconnect.
Because it can read the graveyard.
Exactly. It can read the unstructured mess. The source lists 5 big AI opportunities, but 3 of them really jump out as game changers. The first one is the institutional memory engine.
Okay, the answer to the Groundhog Day problem.
Yes. Imagine an AI model that has read every KPA, every audit finding, every Kaizen summary for the last 10 years. You type in cartridge seal failure, and it says, we saw this root cause in 2019, 2022, and 2025. Here's what we did, here's what worked, and here's what failed.
Wow. Okay, so you're not just reacting, you're informed. You're standing on the shoulders of the last person.
The second opportunity directly addresses our medtech tension. It's the Validation Impact Advisor.
I love this one. It's like having a little lawyer on your shoulder.
A lawyer who reads at the speed of light. Think about our engineer moving that camera. Right now, they have to manually read 20 different documents, SOPs, risk analyses, to see if that move is okay. It's slow, and humans miss things.
So the AI scans the entire documentation stack and just says, warning, if you move this camera, you invalidate test protocol 4B.
Precisely. It instantly tells you the compliance cost of your improvement. It removes the friction between I want to improve and I need to be compliant. You can play what if without risking a recall.
And what about the data silo?
That's opportunity detection, moving from reactive to predictive. Right now, Kaizen is usually reactive. The machine broke, let's fix it.
We fix what hurts?
Right. But AI can watch the data streams, vibration, temperature, and spot drift. It can see a machine is slowly getting worse. Weeks before it ever makes a bad part, it prompts a human, hey, go do Kaizen here right now before it breaks.
That completely changes the dynamic. It's not firefighting anymore. It's preventative medicine.
There's one more use case that's really clever, knowledge capture. Because where does the real problem solving actually happen?
In the hallway. Or standing around the machine.
Right, in conversation. I think at Gen, because of the humidity, no, it's the feed rate. That debate contains all the logic, but it usually just evaporates. AI can transcribe and summarize those technical discussions.
So you save the reasoning, not just the final PowerPoint slide. You know why you made the decision.
Yes, it builds that memory bank for the next person.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate. If the AI can read the SOPs, predict failures, and remember everything, why do we need the consultants? Why do we need Kaizen Institute? Can't we just install the software?
I wish. The source material is very firm on this. AI is an accelerator, not a driver. If you put a Ferrari engine in a go-kart with square wheels, you don't go fast. You just explode.
So what's the chassis? What do we need to have in place first?
The supervisor.
That's interesting. Not the VP of operations, not the head of engineering.
No. The source argues that sustainment lives and dies with the frontline supervisor. They're the ones running the daily meetings at 7 a.m. They're the ones who decide if the standard work is actually followed or if we just drift back to the old way.
So if the supervisor doesn't own it, the improvement leaves the building when the consultant does.
Absolutely. The source has this maturity model. You have to climb it. You can't skip steps. Level 1 is compliance-driven, just trying not to get in trouble.
Okay.
Level 2 is engineering-led, smart people fixing things, but the operators aren't involved. Most medtech companies are stuck right here.
I can see that.
Level 3 is integrated. CI is actually part of the quality system. And level 4 is identity. It's just how we work here.
And you can't just AI your way from level 1 to level 4.
No way. You have to build the habits. The sequence matters. The leadership narrative in our stack is clear. Don't start with the blitz. Don't start with the pizza party.
Start with the vegetables.
Start with daily management. Start with Toyota Keda. Build the discipline of checking the process every single day. If you don't have a system to sustain small changes, you'll never sustain the big ones.
Like diet and exercise, right?
Yeah.
You can have the smartest watch in the world telling you what to do, but if you don't have the discipline to actually do the push-ups, it's just data.
And in medtech, that discipline is what keeps patients safe. The goal isn't just efficiency. It's a system that learns without forgetting and improves without breaking the law.
So to wrap this all up, we figured out that Kaizen isn't just one thing, and that in medtech, the real enemy is this three-way disconnect that turns our own history into a graveyard.
And we learned that AI is the bridge. It's the integration layer that can connect our past, our present compliance rules, and our future data.
But it all comes back to the human element, the discipline to sustain it.
There's a quote from the source that I think just perfectly sums this whole thing up. It's a real challenge to anyone listening. If your improvement system relies on a whiteboard and a smart engineer's memory, you aren't actually improving. You're just renting temporary results.
Renting results. That is a haunting phrase for a business leader.
It is, because the rent always comes due. The defect comes back. So the question isn't how do we improve faster? It's how do we stop solving the same problems twice?
If you can answer that, whether it's with AI or better supervisors or just connecting your systems, you
Yeah.
win.
You win, and more importantly, the patient wins.
A powerful place to leave it. Stop renting your improvements, folks. Own them.